Welcome to another edition of Cloud Experts Unleashed. I'm Ryan Brown, Chief Marketing Officer here at xByte Solutions. And with me today, I'm excited to have another member of our sister company, xByte Hosting. I have Jeremy Ennis. He is the COO of xByte Hosting with me. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Ryan. Great to be on the show today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and so this week, audience, we are going to talk about an actual problem we had at xByte Hosting. I know it's not great to always talk about your problems, but if we can have you learn from what happened for one of our customers, it's for the better. And so I'll kind of set the stage, and then Jeremy can kind of keep me honest, fill in some details. But we had a customer who I'm sure everyone else, every sysadmin on the line is going to relate to this, but they were at lunch. They went to run a script for a report they're running, and then took off. And of course, that script ate up all the resources, all the CPU cycles. And then that's where our monitoring kicked in, and we jumped into action. So I'll kind of pass it off to Jeremy here to kind of fill in some more details and talk about how xByte Hosting jumped into action.
Sure. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Yeah, as we all know, handling alerts and notifications is a critical aspect of being in IT. And so walking through those, knowing what to do, how to handle those, mostly when you partner with your customer. And I think that's an important aspect of setting those proper thresholds for your alerts and your monitoring is, partnering with that provider to understand what you need, what you're looking for in that. So for this example and instance that you're referencing, all customers, mission critical, right? So we all have production live instances. So getting those alerts right away within seconds of a notification, and then knowing what action steps to take beyond that, to keep the customer engaged and knowing what's going on, but also working the issue at the same time. So for this example, we went straight into action, got the notification, logged into the server, started seeing what is eating up those resources.
Jeremy, let me stop you.
Yeah.
Let me stop you real quick here. So we talked about this before the broadcast today. We were going over some things, and we had talked about how the alert for us, we have alerts set up so that if the CPU goes over a certain threshold, and for each customer it may be different, but the alert's set up for 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. And I asked you, being marketing, not technical, I didn't realize what went into some of this, but why do we have it at 5 seconds and not like a minute? Because sometimes your CPU may get pegged for a few seconds, but so why only 5 seconds for that alert?
Yeah, that's a great question. And kind of how we go about it is we want to know right away that, hey, something's happening first and foremost, and it draws our attention to that server. Once it goes beyond that 5 seconds, monitoring that solution, but also collecting that history to go along with that alert is very important as well. And so as you kind of build that time, so once the alert goes off, you then got to go log into the server. So by the time you get to that actual where you can actually take that next first step to resolution, you're probably a good 60 seconds in, right? So you're at that minute. So if you wait a minute, it takes you a minute, now you're at 2 minutes. So the quicker you get that notification and alert and can start those troubleshooting processes, we feel is the most beneficial for our customers.
Nice. Okay, so we get the alert. It takes we're a minute into it. What are you doing next? If you're in the server, what can our sysadmins out there know kind of, okay, what can I expect if they are using xByte's hosting services? What do we do next? Is it shutting the server down right away, or what kind of troubleshooting do we do?
Yeah, we always like to not take that as our first as pulling the plug, but we definitely want to look at what application is utilizing the resources. So if it's CPU, RAM, or disk, maybe there's something that's doing a backup restore or something that's consuming those resources. So understanding what is on that server is very important. Understanding the applications that's on that server beforehand, and that's why I mentioned earlier, really partner with your provider from a customer and provider standpoint is very important. So they understand, what applications, what they're doing, so that they can take those proper next step. Because our goal is to do detection and response both. And so we just don't want to detect it and say, oh, something's going on, but we also want to do a response to that. So understanding those applications, what's going on that server, helps us on that response side take those next best steps. For this example that we're using today, is we went in and found the application that was consuming the CPU, stopped that application, and then allowed the server to come back to the original state below the thresholds needed, which then allowed it to become responsive.
Now, why not? And from being someone who loves to understand the heart of things, why not just jump into log files to figure out what's going on? Why jump straight into restarting that application?
Yeah, we jump straight into the stopping that application, rebooting that application, just to get things back within the thresholds and operational, right? So it becomes responsive again. Then we do the incident report afterwards. So we start looking through logs, say, okay, what caused that? How can we prevent that moving forward? Is it a script that doesn't know what to do, so it just consumes all the resources available before it stops? Or is it a backup being taken that's consuming a lot of disk space at that time? So then it becomes that next step, that next phase of, okay, let's go figure out. We want to be proactive next time and not reactive. So let's go figure out through the logs what happened, what was ran, what can we help as a provider help our customers with, or if it's a system admin, going back to those logs, determining, okay, what was ran at that time? Does it happen every day at the same time? Is it at noon the same thing happens, but there's an automated script that runs? So maybe that script needs to be altered or adjusted, or you may just need more resources to accommodate that script.
A lot of things that go into that, and the other thing we talked about is just even the customer communication side of things. So although yes, we may try and notify the customer to tell them that we're on top of things, they're not, if they're down, they're not checking their emails for an email from us.
Yes.
They're hitting us up trying to find our support phone number, calling us right away, or jumping on our live chat to figure some stuff out. So yeah, that also eats into the time. So if we can be on the server finding the solution, then within a minute, that gives us less time to have to be talking to the customer and trying to troubleshoot at the same time.
Yeah, rightfully so. It's important for the customer to get back their production or their live environment back online, as much as it is important for us to make sure we get that production or live server back online for them.
So kind of key takeaways that I got from this is if anyone out there is configuring their own alerts, configure them for the lowest possible threshold so that you can jump on the server, start trying to, that cuts down the time. Then when you get on the server, hey, if it's still running high CPU cycles, when you get on it, it's been up for a minute or it's been out for a minute, so you can jump on there. Don't do a hard stop on your virtual servers if you can, because that's a risky situation right there. So look for the application first, shut that down, and then start looking at log files.
The greatest thing about
files, go ahead.
The greatest thing about thresholds is they're adjustable, and I think what you were saying there is perfect. Is you may have it set for 5 and realize like, hey, that's always going to consume at this time amount, but it's always going to come back down. So you may be like, okay, we want to set this to a minute or whatever it could be. So that's the greatest thing about alerts is they're always adjustable. You can configure them for every application specifically, every URL specifically. They're the server specs specifically. So they're definitely customizable.
All right, guys, audience, we've had a lot of things to talk about today. So hopefully you've taken away some things to kind of things you can look at if you're trying to manage stuff, if you're a business owner looking at your own alerts, sysadmins. If you're out there, if you don't want to get into it, of course, you can contact us at xbytehosting.com and we can do this all for you. Jeremy, any final words?
No, it's good. Thanks for having me today on the show.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you guys very much. This is Cloud Experts Unleashed. We will talk to you again next week.